Hello. Our discussion yesterday was about the impact of blogging on society and politics, and I've put the most important topics of our discussion in this presentation. First of all, we have discussed about what kind of impact, what kind of influence we are talking about. It's about, among other things, enhancing awareness on certain issues, changing opinion of people, changing the behavior of people, influencing the public agenda, putting new issues on the public agenda. But also, it's also about having an impact on the mainstream media and, of course, on the blogosphere of the web. And in general, it's about having an impact on the market of ideas. One thing that we are seeing is that trust in journalists in general and in the mainstream media is waning. There was a poll in 2005 in the UK which showed that only 16% of British adults are trusting journalists to tell the truth. And what is also remarkable is that politicians had even a higher score, 20%. In general, it's not because of what they write that people don't trust journalists, but because of what they are not reporting, what they don't write. And there, of course, bloggers can have an important role because they can report about those things that the mainstream media are not reporting about. There are also problems with public broadcasting. They are dependent on politics for their funding, but sometimes also for the topics that they are talking about and reporting about. And the commercial media, they are dependent from advertising, and in general, their actions are determined by profit. So it's not because there are a lot of bad things with journalists and the mainstream media that bloggers cannot learn some good things from them. Bloggers can learn a lot from professional journalists, especially on writing style, clarity of articles and texts, some general principles and techniques about writing and reporting. We also discussed if bloggers had to be or have to be objective, neutral, impartial. This is not necessarily the case. Your credibility as a blogger depends more from your honesty than from objectivity or impartiality. So it's important to be honest in order to be credible. Oh, and one other important remark. We are in the age of opinions and not in the age of facts anymore. We're seeing that blogging and Web 2.0 in general have an impact on society, and sometimes they are talking about politics 2.0. Political campaigns already have an influence from Web 2.0 in that they are more interactive, they are more grassroots, they are more taking into account the opinion of the masses, of the people, of the grassroots. So you could say that political campaigns are becoming more and more participatory. This effect, however, is probably still rather superficial. It's on the surface of things, and the impact on political programs of the parties is still rather low. But of course, these campaigns can be very effective for fundraising. More in the United States than in Europe because of the specificalities of the legislation of financing of political parties. But of course, it's not only about politics, it's about society in general. And we see that the web and the interactivity of the web and blogging, specifically blogging, has its impact on society as a whole. We see that ideas are flowing not only from top to bottom, but more and more from the bottom up to the top. You have probably heard about Wikinomics. Wikipedia, for example, is a typical example of an application where ideas and texts and contributions are flowing from the grassroots, from the basis, from the bottom to the top, and are distributed by this application. We also discussed what is the best or what is better, group blogs or individual blogs. Of course, individual blogs can be very important and can have a very high impact because they are representing an independent voice, and it's a way for the citizen to exercise in an active way his own citizenship. But the general conclusion was that group blogs have many advantages over individual blogs. Not only because you can have a more diverse way of representing opinions, but also you can have a higher posting frequency, and the more text, the more articles and postings you publicize, the more opportunities other bloggers and other people have to put links to articles and quote the text you are publishing. A special case are the countries without free media. In general, things become more difficult when you have a high impact. As long as you don't have any impact, you will not experience difficulties with the government or the authorities. But once you are starting to have a real impact in these countries, you will experience problems.